welcome to Mass United Insurance's Dine and Length. I'm your host, Andrew Seeley. Barry Wilkinson is in Trinidad for the Nagico Super 50, so I'm the man in the hot seat. And joining me tonight is Philip Nichols, noted attorney at law. And guess what? We're going to be talking about the biggest story in cricket sports at the moment. It's the story of Chris Gayle. When we come back on Mass United Insurance's Line and Length.
Across the Caribbean, more people are placing their trust in Massey United Insurance for the protection of the things that are important to them, their homes, businesses, and their prized possessions. That's because Massey United Insurance offers excellent general insurance coverage to help you manage whatever life sends your way. Our cadre of well-reputed agencies and trained insurance professionals are always ready to provide you with sound advice and prompt service. Choose the security and sound strength that is Massey United Insurance.
And welcome back to Mass United Insurance's Line and Length. And as I said, Philip Nichols is in the studio, and the Chris Gayle story gets bigger and bigger every day. Philip, from a legal perspective, where are we at this stage? I think the latest story is that Chris Gayle's management have secured or retained the services of a leading Australian media lawyer. But take us through what you think is happening now at this stage, given all that we've heard so far.
Good night, Andrew. Good night, listeners, viewers. Ironically, Chris Gayle had passed off the comment he made, which everyone agrees was inappropriate, as a joke. I don't think he's seen the funny side of it now because it's escalated all around. It's escalated because arising out of the first comment, some worker, a young lady who was working around the West Indies team, has made an allegation that he exposed himself to her in the West Indies dressing room, which he is denied, and now which he is apparently seeking legal redress for. This is all flowed from the original story, and as anyone who would look at it on the net would realize, it has gone viral. It has not just become a sports story. It
is on BBC News front page.
CNN,
even
CNN World Sport, everywhere. And it's because of this, the whole issue that has come up with sexism and you know, the right set of it women have now in the workplace. And you see, when the story was first broken, you would see that some of the Australian commentators or people running Australian cricket were quite quick to divert and say, well, this is not so much a sports issue, because this is an issue where not only he was at work, but the lady was at work.
Employment.
So it's employment things, and then tangentially what they were talking about is sexual harassment. Mm-hmm. Now, if you follow it, for that to have been an issue, a legal issue, she would have had to make a complaint, and clearly she said, look, she accepts his apology, let it end there.
Though some will say, Philip, that it was not much of an apology.
Yeah, and perhaps if he had made hey, like the media boys had helped him in making a clearer and a better apology, it would not have gone on. But it has gone on with this other allegation, and now it is in murky waters as to whether or not this incident did take place. There are some people who feel that he has a history of behavior or saying things that would tend one to believe that it may have taken place. And then there'll be another camp that says, well, look, why 12 months later you now come forward with this? So, yeah, you know, it's going to soon be tied out in the Australian legal system, and it would be probably very interesting to see the outcome at some time.
There have been comments which suggest that he could be suspended or even banned from the Australian Big Bash League, which will obviously have an impact on his future income possibilities.
But I think that is the reason, especially why there's legal action taken, because it is very clear, some people have said that the overriding people in control of the Big Bash could have probably cancelled his contract if they felt that there were other allegations that warranted, the clause that they say, creating an unfavorable environment. And it would then mean that virtually no one would offer him any contract for next year. Mm-hmm. So he really had little choice but to challenge these allegations. Really and truly, I think, challenge the allegations from a point of view of next year's work. I don't know that necessary unless the allegations were proved that they would immediately terminate his contract for this year. But certainly he'll be on slippery grounds for getting one next year anyhow because of what has occurred. And unless he challenges this, it'll be kind of difficult for him to do so.
The role of Sir Richie Richardson, manager of the West Indies team, at that juncture, and we understand based on once again we say based on the Fairfax media report that the incident had been reported to Richie Richardson, the West Indies team manager.
Well, they haven't said anything, quite rightly so, I think, and
Richie's now exiting as West
he's
Indies
now
manager.
exiting, but as we know, if what they allege is true, that he did send an email on it, I'm sure that it would have, someone would find it, and because it would have gone to many people. But all of that would come up as in the question of determining whether or not the statement that was, or the allegation had any merit, and therefore, if it didn't have any merit, whether the newspaper, ironically, he works for the same Fairfax. He's a paid
stringer, basically.
Right, for them. So it's kind of ironic now that the hand that has fed him has come home to bite him.
Would we say now, Philip, that cricket has really entered the big time?
Well, big time. I think when you look at this incident, Andrew, all of us who've been around cricket would know of similar instances that have occurred with many of the other players, especially in the West Indian context, where many people don't view what was done in the same light. Now, that is in no way trying to excuse it. But when you now are on the global stage and you're going into different countries and cultures, you would find it difficult. Like, I would think that it would be very, very difficult to find that one of these fellas would have done that in, let's say, a Muslim country. Because they're aware of the cultural differences, or again, probably in India or whatnot. But so unless, and this goes to the whole fabric that is needed, that education is needed to let these players know and these fellas know that there's some things that you clearly should not get away with, or will not get away with overseas as you would get away with at home. But again, the noise would be that even saying it at home should have caused a greater problem.
Right, because we're hearing now, and again, the mere allegations, we're hearing allegations coming from all quarters. Some have not reached the media as yet about other instances. We know, of course, there was an instance in the Caribbean Premier League, I believe it was last year or the year before, which involved Chris Gayle, and that has also arisen again. Your thoughts on all of this ongoing?
It's just what I was saying, that, you know, there were certain things that they said that had occurred in the past, and those comments were tended to be brushed off. Maybe if they had been dealt with a little firmer hand, he would not be in this position. And again, it goes back to the whole culture that has grown up in many of these players. And he's not the only one, and you're not trying to tarnish a bridge on everybody in being a bit watchful as to what they say. You know, and people have been comparing, and some people, mind you, he's got a lot of support from, again,
from strange sources.
Sources. But other people have saying, well, look, Sharapova did it. And why wasn't there the noise at the time? And that has led some people now to go down the line of playing the alleged race card in the whole issue. But I am sure that he probably regrets what was probably the most expensive drink he's had to pay for.
But in terms of the stardom and superstardom, Fazir Muhammad has compared or Chris Gayle now to Dwayne Wade, to Pete Manning, Denver Broncos. These are our new superheroes or superstars in cricket.
In a sense, in T20, the T20 is, because if you compare Gayle's Test record, we could sit down here and name 50 other West Indian batsmen who had superior Test records. But the T20, which has captured an audience that was not interested in Test cricket, he is clearly the big dog. And being the big dog in the T20, he gets a lot of media attention. And in this case, I think, you know, he was clearly wrong in using that method of a live interview. Remember, a live interview that's going to millions of people who could see the reaction. And if you look at it, the lady concerned, I mean, her reaction was, well, what is going on? And instead of shutting it down straight away, I think it has gone on.
And it's going on and going on and going on. And we're probably going to be talking about it on Massey United Insurance some more. But when we come back, Philip stays with us and we talk about West Indies down under in Australia. A proposal from Steve Smith to Jason Holder. When we come back on Massey United Insurance's Line and Line.
Across the Caribbean, more people are placing their trust in Massey United Insurance for the protection of the things that are important to them, their homes, businesses, and their prized possessions. That's because Massey United Insurance offers excellent general insurance coverage to help you manage whatever life sends your way. Our cadre of well-reputed agencies and trained insurance professionals are always ready to provide you with sound advice and prompt service. Choose the security and sound strength that is Massey United Insurance.
And welcome back to Massey United Insurance's Line and Line. And as mentioned, Philip Nichols is still in the studio with us. Philip, an interesting proposal came from Stephen Smith to Jason Holder as the test match at the SCG was drawing to a close when we finally got play on day 5 after days 3 and 4 virtually rained off. A proposal to try and make a game of the rain-ruined test match. Your thoughts on that? I mean, we've had some stories on this before. Your thoughts?
My thoughts, Andrew, when I tuned in and heard the commentary last night, that, you know, and you heard the commentators all suggesting it was clearly that something had been up behind the scenes. And I think that from a West Indian perspective, you would have to think that the proposal, like in that movie, was an indecent proposal. It was not one that the West Indies could seriously entertain. Now, what advantage would they have? The only person that could win would be Australia. Because if you did set a target and Australia started to lose quick wickets, it would have shut it up and it would be shut up the shop and that was the end of it. Australia was seeking to become number 1. You know, but sometimes, you know, as I remember when I was on the board telling people that sometimes you got to accept there's so much rain that covers and
don't contrive and don't contrive.
3 days in the test match have been washed out and you're trying to contrive a result. Well, to me, after how Hansi Cronje fooled Nasser Hussain and them and made them think it was a great game, they then realized that there were other things at play. And everyone, I don't understand how you could come up so blatantly and say that you went to the man with a proposal that you declare, you give him certain runs, you will keep up the field, they can get runs. But if there wasn't a contrived finish in it, I don't know what is. You know, years ago...
Is there a role for the ICC to get involved, the match referee, ICC to get involved when something like that is made public?
Well, you know, it's a strange breed. What are they doing? They're not going to look at that. But because I have always had a feeling as to how the ICC works in some of these things. First of all, poor Jason Holder, I think, lost 60% of his match fee because we get caught beaten in 3 days and they claim that we...
Yeah, we were slow over it.
You know, I don't want the game to finish in 2, maybe. But a serial offender like Chris Broad continues all the time. Stuart Broad, sorry. Well,
like Chris, father, like son.
Chris happens to be the
match referee.
The match referee as well. Continues to offend all the time and is brushed off. I mean, the umpire tells you something and you tell the umpire, no, get on with it, do it. I can't think of anything more insulting than that. But, you know, getting back to this particular instance, you will recall, Andrew, 20 years ago, maybe around when the game between St. Catherine and BCL ended up. And it was argued that there was a contrived finish. And after the matter came out of court and it was pointed out in the judgment of Sir Dennis Williams, who was sadly recently deceased, that there was nothing in the rules precluding captains from doing that. And the BCA had changed the rules, and no captains cannot contrive to set a game. And I have not seen, looked at the regulations
for the ICC
and this thing, but they're saying that the court studied it and they figured it was nothing to do, nothing that they could not do, untoward. But I know Mr. Lehman is not a lawyer. So it may not have been in that, but you have to look at all things with anti-corruption and whatnot. You are admitting that you're trying to contrive a finish to a game that the weather has made impossible. The game is supposed to be 450 overs, and you've lost virtually 270, but you still want a result. And then the media now is turning around and it's hammering the West Indies, it seems, for not agreeing to it.
Well, we can't win. We certainly can't. Thank you very much, Philip Nichols, for your legal perspective on two matters, the Chris Gayle issue and, of course, the issue with the offer by Steve Smith to West Indies captain Jason Holder. When we come back on Massey United Insurance's Line of Life, it's going to be Dexter Toppin, a man who spent quite a bit of time in South Africa playing and coaching, and he's going to be talking about the latest sensation out of South Africa, 25-year-old Temba Bavuma. More on Massey United Insurance's Line of Life.
Across the Caribbean, more people are placing their trust in Massey United Insurance for the protection of the things that are important to them, their homes, businesses, and their prized possessions. That's because Massey United Insurance offers excellent general insurance coverage to help you manage whatever life sends your way. Our cadre of well-reputed agencies and trained insurance professionals are always ready to provide you with sound advice and prompt service. Choose the security and sound strength that is Massey United Insurance.
I think one of the original bombers has just gone over the...
That's a top shot. So well controlled by Temba Bavuma. And he'll get 4 more. Just a push. And it'll go for 4. Such timing.
Beautiful shot.
What a good shot that is. That is beautiful from Temba Bavuma. Picked that up superbly. 2 men back and he's whipped it away for 4.
Beautiful shots played when it was full. Lovely cover drives, Alvira.
Yeah, he's a classy player. You know, the longer he bats, the more you see the sort of shots he can play. He pulls well, he cuts well, because he's a short guy. So, you know, generally shorter players, shorter batsmen, cut and pull well. And his cover drives are beautiful. You know, he's that sort of player that hits the ball cleanly. And there's some fantastic strokes. Well-deserved 100. When he was under pressure, a lot of people asking, you know, should he be in the team? Well, there's your answer.
Ray Jennings, he's cemented and justified that place in that side. Questions asked, they've been answered now?
Absolutely, and my personal view is it's probably the best knock in the South African innings, better than Hashim Amla. Amla might have got 200, but just when Bavuma came in, the tactics were to bowl short and really get the guys to move on the back foot. He did that, and he took them on and he hooked the ball, and when they actually went full, he was able to actually get on the front foot and do that effectively. So basically, he actually controlled the innings.
And welcome back to Massey United Insurance's Line of Life. And as promised, Dexter Toppin is in the house. We've just seen Temba Bavuma batting. Dexter, how important was this innings by Bavuma?
First, I would like to say, Andrew, thanks for having me. Yes, it was a very important knock for the youngster. He came into Test cricket, probably unknown, but with a lot of talent. So he got a chance really to make a very good 100 outside in Cape Town, where he grew up, and had a chance to play at Unions as a young guy. So I think this is not only for him, but for all the black young kids in South Africa. I think it was a brilliant knock from this young man.
We saw the face of Makaya and Tini on the screen when Bavuma got to the 100. And clearly it was a face of ecstasy. He's the first South African black batsman to score a century. Makaya and Tini probably remembering when he got his first 5-wicket haul as a black fast bowler. Tell us about that.
Well, it was very nice to see that Tini was there in the commentary booth. I think that he's passing on the baton to this young man. And he had a great run in South Africa cricket as a black man coming from also a township outside of King Williamstown. And when you see a guy have to wait 17 years, because he had to wait 17 years in terms of a black guy, you know what I mean, performing for South Africa. We know the problems of South Africa cricket, you know what I mean, back in the early 80s and things like that, with this youngster born in 1990. That's the year that Mandela get released, you know, from prison. So I think it's a big boost for cricket in South Africa, and as far as the township is concerned, and black people.
You were in South Africa for quite a number of years, playing your trade as an outstanding all-rounder, playing in South African cricket, playing alongside both white and blacks and coloreds, I imagine. Tell us what it was like at that time playing cricket in South Africa.
Well, to be honest with you, Andrew, I think that in South Africa it gave me the opportunity also to play first-class cricket for Border. And it was a strange environment because, you know, you grow up in Barbados, you're hearing a lot of things about South Africa, you hear there's a lot of problems there, people saying don't go to South Africa and things like that. But cricket is a big thing in South Africa. First up is a big thing for the white people, the black people like the football and things like that. You know, there's segregation, the third would divide and rule. You find the Indians one side, the whites one side, with the Afrikaners one side, and also find the colors and the black. You know, I mean, there's the ones that were down, there's the ones that were looking to find some sort of hope. And they didn't get the opportunity in terms of playing international cricket, you know, the isolation as far as South Africa is concerned to the world. And, you know, I mean, for a black guy, you know, to emerge at this time of South Africa cricket, where there's still problems, you know, there's the quota system, where that you play 2 blacks, you will probably play 1 or 2 Indians to make up the team. I don't think that is really fair in terms of the right way of picking teams, because I always feel that the best cricketers should play. So I think that right now in South Africa, with this 100 from this young man, it should take this a long way, where you see a lot of black kids coming through, and foremost black batsmen, because before they were black, you know what I mean, fast bowlers, no batsmen. He's the first that really hitting the mark, and I hope that he would continue, because it's not just 100 and it fly off like that. He got to make sure that he's performing, keep himself in the loop. He don't just look at himself because he's a quota player that you should get a play on merit. And I hope that this would go a long way as far as his career is concerned in South Africa cricket. For me, that playing in South Africa when I first went there, it was a little difficult, because at the end of the day, there weren't a lot of black people playing. You were playing the most against the whites and the coloreds, because them was the people who were dominating. But as it go on in the schools, they start to get more black fellas coming through, and it start to grow, where the black cricketers start to get the opportunity to play first-class cricket. And there's where it is at this moment, where you find a lot of black kids coming through and they're playing, they're enjoying the game. They realize that is a future in their cricket. The white people, for me, some of them, they're suddenly moving away. They're going to New Zealand, they're going to England, they're going to Australia. You won't find them going to the West Indies or go to Pakistan or India. They're going where that they can be more comfortable in their environment and still try to pursue their cricket. But now in South Africa, where the black people and the colors are getting the opportunity, I guess later on down the line, you might find there's all black South Africa team and they might be dominating the world.
And also in this South African team is fast bowler, topping 140 kilometers an hour all the time. Rabada looks pretty good, again, out of the township scenario. In your estimation, I know you follow cricket in South Africa very closely.
Yes, I do.
Are there a lot of black cricketers coming out of the townships looking to get into international cricket?
Yes, there are lots of black fellas, you know what I mean, until he started. You know what I mean, it's unfortunate that this young man had to wait 17 years before he can see a quality young black cricketer coming through. And as a batsman, before you had the fast bowlers, you had 3 or 4 of them in the team. They also had a wicket keeper. You know, I mean, Tammy, I can't remember.
Tosekele.
Right, he was also from Langa. So, Langa. So, what I'm saying to you at the end of the day, there's people in there that are looking to go forward once they get the opportunity. I think it's the opportunity that these people need to get to the level they want to in terms of their cricket. And what this young man done in terms of getting 100, not only getting 100, he was not out, and he was batting down with the tail and controlling innings. He looks like a quality little player. But what we would look like from him is to be consistent, because at the end of the day, you don't want to know that first black guy to make a test 100 for South Africa, and then you don't hear anything about him.
That's right.
We want to know he built on that, and we can find that there are other guys who are coming through, who are batsmen, could stay in the team, and see these black guys getting the opportunity to play test cricket and make a living out of the game.
If we talk a little bit more about South African cricket, we had the announcement earlier this week, Hashim Amla giving up the captaincy on the commentary team in South Africa, especially Jeffrey Boycott, highly critical of the captaincy of Hashim Hashim Amla. Your thoughts on his captaincy and his decision to give it up so soon after just 8 or 9 test matches?
Well, watching the game and watching the games that he captained so far, he don't look too sure himself as a captain.
He doesn't look in charge, does he?
No, he don't. He look like a fellow who just get put in the job, and because he's one of the best batsmen in the team, you go back to probably primary school cricket where you say he was the best batsman, you should lead the team, you're captain team. He don't look like he fit that role. And there's problems, and he know that. He come from a colored background. He know what's happening in South Africa cricket. So he don't want to be in that. I think he's more humble, you know, I mean, as a batsman, and he don't look like an aggressive captain. I always felt that sometimes if you're not aggressive enough as a captain, you know, you fall down. But he's smart. He's very smart. He was failing. He got a good score on his belt, probably talked to his family and he talked to people that is close to him. So he decided to make a decision. I feel it's a very good decision for him and might be for South African cricket, because I don't think that the South Africans will really wanted him when you got Elite de Villiers.
So tell me now, you mentioned that, because that's what occurred to me there. He said, when I heard the announcement that Graham Smith was gone and that Hashim Amla was going to be captain, I was surprised because I thought that A.B. de Villiers would have been the natural successor to South African captaincy.
Yes, but because of the politics in the South Africa, still, you know what I mean, it's tied both ways. The whites used to control, they want their players in. Now the blacks got the opportunity, or the colors got the opportunity to have power. They're still pulling in that direction. I mean, you got to be fair. If de Villiers is in the team, he's a quality player too, and he looks like a captain. He looks like a guy who will captain the side. And you get back to Jeff Boycott. Jeff Boycott, and I heard Jeff, and he was saying straight away, somebody should pull him on side. Amla says, look, young man, this job is not for you. I don't think you're doing a good job. You want to be fair. You're a quality batsman. You just get out there and go and continue to make runs. And I think that he would do that. You know what I mean? And I think that he would play for whoever captain the side, because he looked like that kind of person. But as a captain, I don't see that in him. You don't look like a guy that, as you say, have the control on the field. And you need that, you know what I mean? And with the politics, it's going to be difficult for him. You see, he looks
so
like
even in 20, or perhaps we should say even 2016, which is some 26 years later, the politics in South African cricket remains extremely strong.
It's very strong. And you know what I mean, to be honest with you, there's no balance right now. And that's where you need a balance. I think that once you start to get the balance, you know, things getting probably go the right way that everybody's looking for, the world be looking for. But again, you hear the English county cricket. There's some young man or 2 or 3, and they're from South Africa because they're leaving. And that started from the 1990, because there were coloureds who were living in the coloured areas. And then after these white people now coming close to the town, they leave the houses, and the colours get the opportunity, because they're the one that had the money to come in and buy these houses. So they're living where where the colours are living. You know, where white people living now, the colours are living there right now. So you see, there's changes, but it's not going to change like that, Andrew. And the same thing about the cricket. You know what I mean? They're trying to use this quota system. They've got to be careful how they're using the system, because you don't want South Africa cricket to be, you know what I mean, out in the cold again, because there's a lot of talent in South Africa, and there's opportunity also for West Indies cricketers now to go down to South Africa and harness their skills and get better, because it's a very good environment to play cricket in South Africa.
Well, that's our program for tonight on Massey United Insurance's Line and Life. I want to give special thanks to attorney at law Philip Nichols, and of course coach Dexter Toppin, who spent some time in South Africa. Join us next week when we'll have more discussion on cricket internationally, regionally and locally on Massey United Insurance's Line and Life.